Yeah, I kind of messed up the whole timing on that a little bit, but hey, we are managing. Welcome to the stream. Today I have quite a lot on my mind, and I am looking forward to this because, well, I always look forward to this, but I just had a visitor from the tribe. He's probably on his way back home now. He's in the car, but we had some amazing conversations, and we were talking about these things that we are discussing on stream and the community, and these things that we tend to delve into, and it's therapeutic. It's really therapeutic. Talking about things like what fuels you, what sets your soul on fire, what do you hate? This is actually what got me into this stream today. What I don't like. And I had this conversation this morning with someone who had this issue. They are not as the norm, right? They don't fit the common average, basically. And it is a member of the LGBTQ plus community. There's the people that are not like everyone, and still every year they are getting torn down because people don't see that people can be different. If you like someone of the same sex, if you want to change your sex, if you like someone of the same religion, or if you want to change your religion, whatever it is, different thoughts, different opinions, different beliefs, right? And I had this comment that really just ticked me off because someone asked in a community filled with people who want to be Vikings. It was a Viking community. And they asked, are there anyone out there like me? People who want to be friends? Do you want to meet? Do you want to talk? And the comments, they were not good. And it kind of blew me away. And so I responded. And as I did, something kind of awakened. Because the whole Cosmocentric Viking thing, it sounds, for some people, it sounds like a religion. It sounds like a cult. It sounds like a movement. It sounds like a label. And that's where I really want to nip it in the butt, right? Because labels is, in my opinion, what got us into a lot of troubles as a human race. It's when people figure out, okay, I'm going to be this now. I'm going to be a Rolex. I'm going to be a Apache attack helicopter. I'm going to be something because I want to be something else. And then whatever your thoughts are, you're being put in a box with a label on it. So I wanted to explain what a Cosmocentric Viking was, because in a community of 70,000 Vikings, someone coming out and saying who they are authentically without putting any masks on is, in my opinion, more Viking than most of the people trying to pose as a Viking, because most people don't really know what it is. They are associating it with violence. And I mean, I do have a war axe behind me, but that doesn't mean that I'm into the whole war and violence. It's about the whole going into the unknown fearlessly, right? To be respectful of everyone in your community, to know that everyone is equal regardless of financial status, of sexual orientation, of gender, of skin color, of religious beliefs, how ignorant or arrogant one is, whatever it is. Everyone is on different stages of the journey. Someone is associating themselves or identifying as something else. And so shouldn't it be the right of everyone to be that? So I just voiced my opinion. A Viking is a person who will try to do their very best to strengthen the community, to get them up, to try to make sure that the best in everyone, the authentic self, comes up and out. So that people don't go around and just feeling like, okay, I can't be myself. Feeling lost, feeling like they're being ostracized and alienated. We're going to come back into that, by the way. Thank you, brain. Alienation is a huge thing that I want to talk about. So, just doing your best to strengthen the people around you. And being that person who's willing to take the blow to do that. And then if someone needs help, helping them. And if someone don't understand, help them understand. Right? But then the reason that I went from the whole Viking thing, it's not because I'm Norwegian. It's not because I live in a Viking, very Viking-ish community and all that stuff. My son is called Trim. I'm really into Norse mythology. But it's the fighting spirit. The doing what you need to do when you have to do it. If you're pressed, you'll do something in order to get out of that situation. You take on challenges, right? Even if they seem impossible. You take them on because you don't have a choice. Like the Vikings, they went west. They had no idea where they were going. For all they knew, there was a sea monster across the horizon, or they could just tip over and fall off the edge of the world. They didn't know. So it took some major balls to do that, but they did that for a reason, right? This country was not as pleasant as it is today. It was kind of shitty. Like infertile grounds, you had all these tribes trying to take everything. You had kings trying to impose. There's a lot of shit. Lots of shit. So they did what they had to do. Given their current understanding of the world, given their current technology, everything, they were equal. They treated people with respect, but they still did some nasty shit. But for some reason, people seem to latch onto those things. Like, ooh, I'm badass. Ooh, I'm just, I hate so much. I must be a Viking. Right? I'm actually taking these as references because I saw these in comments. People asking about tattoo ideas. First of all, just a personal opinion. You should never ask someone else what you should have as a tattoo, as that is a permanent thing and it should probably resonate with your values and who you are as a person, right? Once you get over that spontaneous little interaction that you had when this was a good idea, you don't want to regret that decision. So having that conversation with someone who knows what they're talking about, like in tattoo artists, helping you find that should be the way to go, not asking people of mixed values and belief systems what you should have permanently on your body. And then the theme was rage. Why? Because that's apparently what Vikings are. So I wanted to have this, what up, nostalgic vibes, by the way. I set the timer in order to not miss the stream. Hits me in the feels. Love that. Thank you so much for being here and supporting us. A Viking is so much more than what people think they are. And it's a mindset. It's a way of life. It's a mentality. It's just the keeping your word, right? Being your true, authentic self. Accepting your past. You might have done some shit. But that's not who you are today, right? You have all the opportunity every second of the day to be who you are. Who you want to be. To forge your reality. Holy crap. I'm like real Slim Shady over here. But then there's the cosmocentric part. And a lot of people have that. They trip a little bit because cosmocentric, I didn't know that word 4 months ago. I had no idea. But it is the thing that kind of resembled, it made more sense to me than any other word. Because you can call yourself spiritual, sure. Spirituality then has also, or spirituality have a lot of different associations to it. A Christian can call themselves Christian or spiritual. Oh, excuse me, I had a wonderful meal and it's trying to attack my body. Christians consider themselves spiritual. Buddhists, all these people of different spiritual castes, I guess, disciplines. Spirituality is a lot of things. So when I was getting into this, the reason that I started to have this mentality and this way of thinking was not because of a set rule system or a dogmatic framework, whatever it is. It's not like if you don't believe this, you're probably going to end up somewhere else and it's going to be painful if you don't do it like this because that's what's written, all that stuff. You know, I had a problem following these laws and I felt a certain way and I wanted to figure out what I was feeling. Once I saw that mathematical equation, which is weird, but I study a lot of quantum physics, right? And once I saw that thing that resembled the smallest of the small, and how that was, in my eyes, the most logical reason as to why we are creating the energy that we are, and how that energy is interacting with the universe, and how universe is also comprised of that same energy, and how everything is energy, right? It just made sense. All of a sudden, I was just, all right, because I knew to some degree about the energetic thing, but and also I saw the secret, energy attracting more of the same, all that stuff. It made, I'm not going to say it made sense. It sounded awesome. It sounded like a romantic thing. Like I can just think things and have them come to me. That sounds amazing. But that's not what clicked, right? I had this interest of energy, but it was so much more. Once I had that understanding of the science that could be measured and seen in different parts of everything, like why there might be a vehicle connecting our brains to a plant, and how that might affect its growth and its seeming vitality, right? How we can sometimes look like we're talking to animals. I actually talked to my cat a few days ago, and he did what I asked him to, because I had this respectful back and forth conversation with him. Not in words. I felt something, and I went with it. I just answered his meows, his complaining. He was complaining a lot. But there was this energy, and I felt it. And once I had this understanding, I was applying it to everything that I did. And once that clicked, that quantum fluctuations in a vacuum on a Planck scale, that weird sentence, just the tiniest of tiny, made my world. And so I was feeling different. I needed to figure out why I was feeling different, why I was basically helping flies escape my bedroom so that it didn't get swatted. I've heard of quantum physics, but I really don't know what it is. Oh, nostalgic vibes. We're going to have some amazing talks. That's basically what everything in my life is now quantum physics. And so when I had this love, this passion, this obsession with quantum physics, and I'm going to talk a little bit about what I have achieved with it, so that you get a little understanding of why I am so obsessed with it, because it is everything. Niels Bohr, the famous physicist, he said that if you are not thrown off your rails by the effects of quantum physics, then you simply have not understood it yet. And it's not really advanced. Well, it is, but it's not, you don't have to make it complicated. That's the point. You can actually teach this to a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old. My kids know these things, and they do things that is just superhuman. Like, this is what I 2 years ago, I was blown away. But now I understand it, so I can explain it to people who don't really know what it is. People who don't even need to know what they're doing. They don't need to know. There doesn't need to be a label on it. That's my point. The labeling system is what I have a problem with. For instance, I think I've mentioned this before. The 24th of August, 1572, two religious factions killed each other, and one won, had a party, all that stuff, right? Catholics against Protestants. Religious, under the Christian religion, killing each other, because one label didn't agree with the other label within the same label. That just blows my mind, that we can have these fatal battles on these subjects. But still, we do, right? Quantum physics made me see that we are all one. Fundamentally, in energetically, we are one. The things that are that's separating me from this remote control is the vibration of the atoms within it, right? And with that, everything changed. Like, now I felt this connection to the universe, and I felt like I was something. I had this power within me. And now when I'm speaking right now, I have no idea what I'm talking about, if that makes sense. I set off with a topic and I let it rip. Something within me is becoming, it's like a channel. It's like I'm a radio. Because I understood these things where I feel spiritual, but I needed a name, which is just, it turns out it's cosmocentric, right? I'm going to get back to that, by the way. I'm still on a tangent, but I'm going to get back to it. Something happens. I become something else. I feel that energetic power within me when I'm just speaking my truth. And that does a lot. It changes everything. And I have so much to share with every one of you. And some of it will seem quite impossible. But once you see the method to the madness, the science that supports it, something shifts. And this is where we're going to talk about neuroplasticity, neurogenesis. Do not worry if you don't know what that is right now. It's very basic. It's basically just your brain cannot go back. It will grow and grow. And with new information, your reality will change. Does it have something to do with law of attraction? It has everything to do with law of attraction. Everything. So, good. I'm going to talk more about that. Thank you. Cosmocentric is the fourth level of centricism, basically. Let's say that you have egocentric, people just thinking about themselves 100%. They don't care about anyone else. They would go over their own mom's corpse to get what they want. A very small percentage of the population on this earth is egocentric. After that, you have ethnocentric, which means you're basically just associating, you're liking people because they have some similar interest. Like, you like Liverpool, cool, me too, I love you now. And that can go in religion, clothing, brands, right? You have something in common. So even if you might be slightly racist, you don't care because you like the same thing, right? Ethnocentric goes above the minor quarrels that people might have. Excuse me. And then you have world-centric, which is you're doing things for the betterment of everyone. But as far as this is like my interpretation, I haven't studied the world-centric as much as should. I will do more of that. But you're caring for the world, but you're not really going more than that. You're here, you're going to do something cool for the world, and you're going to try your best to do something of importance for the world, right? For the people, you're helping people, you're doing something. And then cosmocentric. Every subatomic particle in you and in everything else from now and forever in perpetuity will be benefited from your energy that you will put forth to create a better future, not for yourself, but for everyone around you, your descendants in the cosmos forever. Like, trying to benefit every subatomic particle that you can come across. And within quantum physics, it's basically interacting with the energy everywhere. So when you get into that, and that's where I've tried to explain this a few times, is like, I felt that shift. I created the podcast called The Shift because of that. I felt a significant difference going from where I was to now seeing things completely differently. That was like, I escorted a fly out and was like, did I just wish that fly in merry travels? Why did I do that? Right? But it's because I've been doing these things one step at a time, and all of a sudden I crossed the threshold and I really didn't notice that I did. And as I did, I just started to walk the talk, right? That's also something that I said yesterday. You should walk the walk before you talk the talk if you're going to go and tear someone down because they are different than you. I didn't really understand that I was doing this. It was just a part of me. And that's where I realized something had shifted completely. And that's when I found Cosmocentric, which just made all the sense in the world. And it's also a mindset. It's a frame of mind and a mentality that enables you to see the good in all people, but you're also quite aware. You can see past the mask of people. So this quote always comes back to me. Do not mistake my kindness for weakness. Right? Because I will be as kind as I possibly can to everyone that I can be kind to until I get backstabbed, which happens quite a lot when you're speaking your truth, which is really interesting. I really think that the more you spend time with yourself, the more enlightened you become. Centric means center, I think. Yes, I absolutely agree. When you think about who you are, when you sit in peace and really take inventory of what you are, to the core, what do you believe in, right? Something changed. And we had this conversation a few streams back where I saw this homosexual in Pixar, I believe he worked. He had a problem because he was homosexual, but he didn't know that. Nobody had told him that that was a thing. So he had that constant voice trying to tell him, pay attention to me. I'm here. Like, why are you doing all these things, trying to do what society wants you to do when I'm right here? Right? But he didn't know what that was. He thought he was crazy. This goes for anything. I think so many people walk through life feeling called, feeling like something is off. There is something different that they need to do, something that they're called to do. Their authentic thing, their soul contract, right? When you're not doing something that is completely aligned with who you are, or if you're trying to force yourself into becoming something that you're not, you're going to feel bad on a soul level, and it feels horrible. And if you do that over time, let's say that you're doing a job that you hate, and you're just doing that just because you're supposed to do that, over time you're going to be depressed, and you're not going to see that you are depressed because it's just a habit. And habits are dangerous if you're not aware of them. What is paradigm shift? Let's go into quantum physics. A paradigm shift is when you go from one system of a law, a system of structures and things. Like in this paradigm, you have gravity. Gravity is a natural law, right? You have these things that you believe in that is just part of your reality. And when someone comes in, let's say that, all right, let's take a quantum physics example, actually. I used to have a blood clot. I used to have an inoperable blood clot. 13 years, I went with the arm like this. I could not work with it. I could not do anything. I actually lost every job that I had. And the doctors, for 13 years, my specialists from my nation, from my country, tried to fix this. Could not do anything. They gave me pills. They gave me all that. I actually have these here somewhere because they were props. I have 900 pills unopened because they just tossed these addictive medications on me. You couldn't fix the problem. But then I found quantum physics and epigenetics. Now, quantum physics is basically just the science of the smallest of the small, right? The energy, the subatomic particles within the atoms. It's like it's everywhere, right? Makes sense? We're going to talk way more about this, by the way, because this is one of those passion things. Epigenetics means above the gene. So within quantum physics, there is a lot of concepts. You have all the opportunities to do whatever you want because every opportunity exists at any given time. So if you're sitting right there closing your eyes right now, you have any opportunity that you choose to focus on. You can think that, all right, I am hereby going to become an astronaut. And then you're going to go on to that path of becoming an astronaut, if you really are meaning that, right? Now, you need to believe it, which is the habit thing again. If you really go into something and you become habitually inclined to follow that, become a creature of habit into something that is going to improve your life, that is magic, but is also quantum physics, right? You are able to go into meditation, shut off who you are. I'm going to try to explain this in the best way that I can. I was not prepared for this. Thank you. When you go into meditation, you can get to a point where I call the pop out. You pop out of yourself. This is astral projection, right? There is visualization, yes. When you can visualize something really hard, you're programming your mind, but you're also putting into the universe through the electromagnetic fields on the Schumann resonance and all that stuff. We're going to go into all of that, and also just a theory, but it has worked tremendously for me so far. But you're basically communicating on this web, right? Right now, you're watching me. I'm sitting on a mountain in Norway. I don't know if you're on a phone, maybe you're on a Wi-Fi. Isn't it then kind of arrogant of us to think that I am able to stream this from a glass lens into your camera wirelessly, and my voice and the images is going to come to your device? So we are able to create these things that can do these things, but we're not able to do that ourselves with the most advanced computer in the universe. Yeah, there's a lot of things that we don't understand yet. But visualization, really going in and creating your reality is so powerful. But how many people sit down every day and really visualize where they want to go? Because when you do that, as I said, I had an inoperable blood clot. It was like this for 13 years. But now I can do things that the doctors are just scratching their heads on because it's not possible, according to their paradigm. Their paradigm, their set of laws and rules, tells them that the science, the books they have studied for 60 years, have told them this. Well, science have evolved. We know now things that we did not know before. Charles Darwin, he could not understand the DNA and the molecules as we can today because he was limited by the technology of the time. So now he actually said that in the book. If there was a concept to arise that consists of irreducible complexity, meaning that you cannot simplify it anymore, then his theory falls short. And our human eye is more advanced. Our human eye consists of irreducible complexity. You cannot take away a part and then have it actually work afterwards. Cells do 3 things. They shit, they eat, and they multiply. If you remove one of these things, the entire system collapses. He did not know that, right? Speaking in quantum physics, the theory is that we can interact with this field, with this energy. And back in the 1800s, I believe, there is a guy, what is their name? Matheson or Morley? Don't quote me on this. Yes, you can choose to redirect your focus to anything. Yes. I think it was Matheson and Morley. They tried to prove that there was an energy. They tried to disprove that there was an energy with the current technology of the day. They did not have MRI. They did not have EEG. They could not see the electromagnetic frequencies. I mean, I don't know if Matthews? No. I'm not going to spend time trying to figure out what his name was, but the dude that figured out what electromagnetism was. They didn't know it until they understood it, until they saw it, right? Now we have very good understanding of the science of small. The smallest of small in the subatomic particles. Now, I know that this might be very overwhelming for a lot of people if they just come in here and just hear me talking about quantum fluctuations and stuff, but my point is that it doesn't have to be complicated. You visualize what you want. And if you just picture yourself as the fish in the sea, asking the other fish, how's the water? And the other fish will just go like, what the fuck is water? We are in that sea. We are enveloped. We are surrounded by this energy at all times. Just knowing that there is an energy there is enough. Just believing that there is something more to this world than what we might think, and be open-minded enough to check that out. Do the meditation. Can change your world. On that topic, if you want to do that meditation, go into the FML project, create a free account. It's right there in the members portal. Free meditation. People have seen amazing things so far, and we're creating more and more all the time with ESP, remote viewing, healing, all these things, just to try it out. I mean, I've had some pretty amazing results, and today I had some pretty amazing conversations. 2 days ago, I had a pretty amazing synchronicity that I haven't talked about yet, but it's going to change so much. I don't think I want to talk about it just yet because it's not 100% guaranteed, but it's huge. And you're going to see it on the stream in the background when it happens. Is this energy the ether? Yes. Yes. You can call this energy ether, ka, chi, God energy, electromagnetic energy, mana. There are so many words, and this is going to be interesting for some of you. We have been on this journey for a long time. Human beings have been on this planet for a long time. We have been learning as we have gone, right? Right now, I can go in here and I can read about Einstein's life, Stephen Hawking. I can read about all the people that I want to read about on Kindle, on the internet, whatever. You could not do that before. So all the science has been dependent on the financial backing, which normally came as a consequence of military campaigns, and then learning on top of what other scientists learned before, building upon the knowledge, right? Now, back then, 2,000 years ago, we didn't know that much about stuff. I mean, if you drove a Polo, a Volkswagen Polo, into the town center of Jerusalem, you would probably be killed because you would probably be seen as a dragon-wielding sorcerer, something. We have technology now that we didn't have back then. But yet, they still tried to label these things with their current understanding of the world, right? What do you think a person 2,000 years ago would call a Boeing 747? Probably not a Boeing 747. So, mana, chi, ka, ether, there's so many ways to say this. I think it's just, we have this weird way of trying to make sense of something that was, up until now, hard to make sense of. That's just it. Now we know, because we have found the science, which also is kind of interesting because we've been really good at separating everything. Good transition, because I'm going to talk about the alienation. Separating geology, biology, neurology, right? All of these different ologies. So many different sciences. Some sciences had the clue that filled another piece in another department, basically. It wasn't until they took all of these things and saw that, holy shit, we're just trying to make sense of the universe and the nature that is everything. Everything is one, right? Trying to combine these concepts made us see things in a different light. Here we are. Now we understand that there is more, a lot more. We can tap into our intuition. We can communicate with other people. We can basically hear minds. We can get answers to problems that we didn't know we had if we focus on solutions and not the problems themselves. I'm going to check it out after. Oh, I love this. So let me just update myself on the comments. Thank you, Nostalgic Vibes, by the way. And then I'm going to go into the alienation, because I read every day. And for some reason, I'm in the section of the book now that is just painfully pointing out the problem, which is why I'm having this conversation right now as to what is a cosmocentric Viking. I believe in synchronicities. Me and my sister have been seeing repetitive numbers like 1111 1919. My sister was doubting me earlier, and now she's beginning to believe me. Believe. I mean, there is so much that could happen from these. There's a reason. You should, like, our pop culture is starting to leak these out more and more. Started with Matrix, Avatar, Loki now on the Disney Channel or the Disney Plus thing. This, you choose which reality you want to belong in. And I, for one, I'm pretty psyched that I chose the whole trying to figure out what I was path, because it has blown my mind. But alienation. You know, back in the day, we used to live in communities of families. The family was basically the government. The family was the healthcare system. The family was the judges, the police, everything. The family did it. The family handled business. They also supported each other, but they also made sure that they vetted the spouses and the marriages and all that stuff. So they had some say that would limit a person's life. But they had everything. They had the community. If one in the family wanted to do something like starting a business, the family came together, scraped together this funds, and helped them start this. If a parent died, the family came together and raised the children after. If the schooling was done in the family. And then up comes state and market, right? The state, they used to get money. Like the kings got money for protection. The families paid tax for the king to protect them against alien forces, right? That's all they did. The king did not do a lot of things other than sitting in this castle, which was built mostly by the people that paid the taxes. They didn't get anything for that, but because of that, they felt protected. So there was a little quid pro quo, right? After a while, people started to go away from that. They started to become more community in having more community in the families. And then the state comes and say that I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to give you a healthcare system. I'm going to give you social welfare. I'm going to give you I'm going to give you economic gains by giving you a job, stability, safety. I'm also going to make you able to marry whomever you want. There's no limit to what you can become. You are an individual with your own thoughts. You can become what you want to be. Of course, this was a very tempting dream for a lot of people, so they just went for it. The problem, though, when this starts to evolve and escalate over the decades and eons, the hundreds of years that have passed after that, now we are so individualized that we have no power. We cannot choose to not have our kids in school without consequence. If we do something that is deemed not right by the system, they might just take your kids away. If you want to do whatever if you're sitting at home trying to figure out what your sense of purpose is, the system might say that you have your back, but you're sitting there alone, being isolated, an individual, in power, just alienated, feeling alone and depressed. We have gone from communities to individuals over time. So many people are feeling so lonely today because we have evolved into being alone. It's insane. We used to have all the power in the family. We used to have this tight-knit community. And now we're just, right? The free market, everyone is going out there to try to fend for themselves, make as much money as they can while they're alive. Everything is centered around money. And this is just leaving other people in poverty. They're alone, so they don't know what they're going to do because who's going to help them? There's a lot of people sitting alone. A lot of people thinking about themselves. A lot of people trying to build this capitalistic, materialistic system, right? Everything. I call the government today because I want to lend my services to the government because I know the system is failing. So I wanted to go in there and help the people that I know how to help by empowering them to actually see the power that they have within them. Motivate them to do something else than sitting and waiting for the government to take care of them because, frankly, many times that does not work. This mental health system here in Norway is horrible. The whole economic safety here, I renounce my rights because of a lot of reasons. But doing that, I saw the reality of the system from a different angle, and I was horrified. So I was sitting there today, listening to this automated freaking phone answering machine, listing up the options that I had. First, went through 5 options of which kind of financial aid are you seeking. I was like, no, can I get to a person, right? Clicked on go to the next level. And there was 5 or 6 different financial things. Nothing there had anything to do with anything of an individual. It was only money. What kind of support do you need today? And knowing that you cannot get support without going through one hell of a fight to get what you're basically entitled to, I don't see the point. It's like seeing this fakeness, this cloak of fakeness, as we're now calling it, screaming at your face. And I know that the system is so flawed, and trying to get in there to kind of fix it, and you're getting debunked before you even get in. It's truly, truly amazing. Let's see. I believe it'll, yes. So I think that we now have to figure out how to come together as a global tribe, because everyone is the same, right? Everyone, nostalgic vibes, we're on the same path. Everyone has powers. Everyone has these abilities in themselves, knowing that they're part of something completely different than what we're being taught in schools. Because the schools, they will rob you of your creativity. They will take you in and they will make you rehearse different things from the Second World War or whatever, all the books, right? Some of the education is good, of course, but when you only focus on this, being ridiculed in class for not knowing these things, being in a room full of other people, afraid to stand up and say that I don't understand this, teacher, sorry, can you help me? Because that's not really, that's frowned upon. It's been frowned upon for ages. making you feel stupid if you don't understand, when it's actually the teacher who cannot understand things well enough, right? You go through this system, becoming the perfect cog in the machine, so that when you get out, you already know that you have this the thing, the lunch hour. You have set things that you do during the day. When the bell rings, you go home. You relax a little bit, you eat, you continue the process afterwards. When you start working, it's just basically shifting offices, right? Going through one other door instead. You don't really know a lot about who you are when you're done with school. You know a lot of information, sure. But you don't know how to really think. Which is what I've been talking to 7-year-olds, to 12-year-olds, to teenagers, and taking my own experience into account. Talking to people who's graduated, who's gone into school and come out in a job, all these things. I've tried to get all the data I can. They don't really know how to think for themselves from the information they get in school. And that's very freaking interesting. When people say that don't let school come in the way of your education, there's something very deep about that. We should know that, for instance, speed reading. If I learned speed reading in school, I would have found the interest in books. If I knew what I could learn from books, I would fucking read. If I knew what I could become if I just focused on myself, if I knew about meditation, if I knew about breath work, if I knew about the things that I was able to do because of my unique ability that everyone has that one unique thing. If we knew this in school, so many people would be better off. Because right now there's so many people in Norway, at least, walking around not knowing who they are. Trying to fit this mask, this cloak of fakeness through social media. Trying to become someone they're not. Living their life on the perspectives on other people. Our elders are giving us advice that comes from their understanding of reality. Like, if your great-grandmother came to you and wanted to give you advice on your iPhone, would that be of any value? No, but in her reality, that iPhone is not worth a lot. It's like, what do you need that for? In my day, we just did this and this and this. Right? We need to understand that we are in a historic, huge point in time. Unprecedented. The world is in turmoil. I think we all can agree. Social media is doing things that is frightening, to say the least, with algorithms and all these things that we've been fed. And if we don't know what our minds are capable of doing in creating the reality and the habitual reality, how we are installing these mentalities without even realizing it, and where this is going in the future, we need to be aware. Because right now, in this moment in time, everyone has the ability to make a choice as to what they want to do. But so few people are doing it because they don't know. You know, which is not their fault. We are not being taught these things. I would not have known this if I did not get my blood clot, which kept me from graduating from school, which kept me from working a normal job. I had to study things and research things in order to figure out what I could do, because I couldn't do what society wanted me to do, which seems to be a blessing in disguise, right? Because it fixed my problems. But you don't know what you don't know until you know that you don't know. And then you know that you know, and then you know just second nature. Because you're implying it, you're implementing these things into habitual habits. Most people go to school because of their friends are going to school. They don't really know their true purpose in life. And this is... It's sad. My kids, the reason I'm doing this as aggressive as I'm doing these days is because my kids are growing up in this future. I know that my son has access to the iPad. He's 5 years old, and I've seen the impact that has on him. So when he's at my place, we're trying to figure out who he is. We're trying to empower him to figure out what he wants to do, what fuels his soul, empower him to become him. My daughter, 3 years old, she don't have that. She doesn't have that input. And I see the difference. There's a huge freaking difference. And I think it's scary because a lot of parents do not see what the social media platforms are actually doing, what media is actually doing, what this herd mentality of everyone needing to have this Canada Goose jacket because one of the kids in class had this jacket. It's like we have become so materialistic and self-centered, just wanting to be one of the crowd, that we have forgotten that we are actually ruling people of sovereignty. Sovereignty? We're sovereign people. But it seems like this is not being emphasized. Like all of these, there's so many mental health problems in the world right now, and so freaking many of them can be fixed simply by mindset, by meditating, by using these things of detaching yourself from the things that is actually causing the problem. If you're being fed these statistics of how bad the world is, of course you're just going to see problems in your life. That's just going to accumulate. For each problem that you see and become aware of, you're just going to see more problems. I don't have the news. I don't have the TV. Did I just say the TV as if I'm really... The rat race of 9 to 5. See, I'm not sure how many people know exactly what the FML project is because I hate selling. I try to share this in a way that makes me feel good about myself, but it's becoming more and more apparent that people need to know that there's a chance of doing something else if they want to. My whole goal with this is to share information that can empower you to do something different. We haven't had a stream yet about these things, about online business and what is possible with the technology, because I haven't felt like that is appropriate for some reason. Because I am a part of an algorithmic reality where people only focus on the money. They only focus on what they can get out of the people that follow them. And that is just, it hurts. It really hurts. So it has made me feel like I don't want to share that. But I want to share what I can to the people in need of knowing how to create something that can sustain you income-wise based on your passions. Your mess becoming your message, your passion, your hobby, whatever it is, becoming something that you can sustain, something that you can create a lifestyle from. And it doesn't have to be like I created something that made me millions of dollars in a month. Simply to the level of what your 9 to 5 job is giving you. Because if you're walking into a 9 to 5 hating that job, dude, you can make money from shaking your phone these days. Simply doing this. Earning Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin is heading into places. We're not going to go into that right now. But there are ways to make money online that is going to blow your mind. So many ways. You can sell a service. You can create a product. You can sell other people's products. You can do drop shipping. You can write blogs. You can do surveys. You can do so many things. But people don't know about them because we don't get taught these things. But there's also the mindset. Because I've been doing this since 2012. And I can assure you that when you get into something like that, trying to create a freedom lifestyle, doing something that you love, that's all well and good. But having the mindset and the knowledge that you're good enough to do that. And let me emphasize that. You are good enough to do that. Because there's something very big that most people don't talk about on this whole thing. The imposter syndrome. When you feel like you're not valuable. And that is fascinating. You don't feel like your voice actually matters. Why should you stand out, right? It's genetics. Throughout history, if we stood out in the tribe, we could risk getting ostracized, killed even, for sharing our opinions. Well, this age right now is the knowledge era. We are now in a place where you can share your opinions, and some people will resonate with you. You watching this, listening to this, is proof of that. What is that name? 𝐏𝐿𝐴 is the real definition of our world today. 𝐏𝐿𝐴. I'm going to have to look into that. But yes, I want to enable people to have freedom. Freedom to do whatever they want. And it starts with the mindset. It starts in the brain. It starts with knowing who you are, the authentic, true self. Being cosmocentric if that's what you want, but knowing that you have powers beyond your wildest imagination. And doing these things, following these steps, thinking about these values, trying to make habits that is actually going to get you there. like reading a little bit every day in a book that actually have value towards you reaching that goal, right? Or thinking positive, or reframing the negative. You can't go away from the negative. You can reframe it into something neutral or positive, like, yeah, I fucked up. I learned a lesson from that, right? Something like that. Valuing your time, living in the now. You know, serve, give to give. Don't give to get. There's so many small things, nuggets of value, that if implemented is going to change your life dramatically. Try to get up at 5 a.m. in the morning. Try to do a cold shower tomorrow. Try to meditate. It's insane. The results are freaking insane. It cannot be underestimated. The human brain is simply amazing. And just by me now, I have not been really good at camera for a long time. And now I can take a topic and I can go in a rant. I can pull in dates and names and numbers and events like nothing, because my brain is now developed in a way that I designed it to. I'm amazed because I have sleepy tattooed on my neck for a reason. I slept through school. Out of 6 being the top, I had 0.6 when I went out of school. I was a bona fide loser. I was the worst screw up you could think of. I was a nationally branded criminal. I had the blood clot. I lost my family to deportation. I spent 3 years in prison. All these things should have made me a fucking loser. Yet I'm at a place today that I cannot even comprehend. It's still like a dream coming true, and every day something more is happening. And it starts with these small steps, which is why I want to share it with as many people as I can, because I know the power of it. I've been there. And this is why I'm so passionate about trying to share this. We need this, which is also why, because now we can also use pain as a drive and motivation to achieve the unachievable. Yes. That's why I have my family here. Because the pain of not having them, not really beneficial. I have to close off, but again, I actually forgot to put that link in today. In the description after this video, I'm going to put in the link to support Harald, who is now trying to raise funds for his RV. He's going to create a Viking ship, basically, a motor home that he's going to take from Dallas and drive to Norway, which is in itself insane. Really cool. He is a Viking through and through, and he's going to take this path. He's going to journal it. He's going to blog about it. He's going to create a true transformational journey for all of us to behold. And he's going to live something that is probably frightening for a lot of people. He's going to try to survive, creating water collection tanks and solar panels to survive in this house that he's now building for himself to get out of a situation that he don't want to be in. So I implore you, support the shit out of Harald, and let's make this dream happen. Let's come together as a tribe and make something awesome happen. Thank you so much for being here. I think the reason that I'm doing this right now, to try to end this quickly, is because I think I can only stream for an hour for some reason. And let me see, I've always almost been there. Yeah. I think I only have an hour to stream before YouTube cuts me off, and that kind of sucks. But I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for being here and being a part of this journey with me. I love you all to bits. Have a fantastic day. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care of your freaking family, alright? And nostalgic vibes. Ask your questions. You have good questions. You're gonna be the source of a lot of episodes to come. Peace.